Well, I've been a hands-on CEO for a long time, and I think some of the lessons that have come to me later in life is that it's just as important to let go. There's challenge after challenge after challenge. Talking about dopamine hit these days, being a CEO is incredibly demanding. When I look at what I would like to see more of from myself is helping people, remind them to love themselves and to love what they do and to do what they love.
Sweaty goals. Welcome.
Feels like energy around here.
Yeah, we went through a little cold plunge. We had a great little hit workout. You did great, by the way.
Thank you.
We did our breath work and the biocharger
And
we
the
played.
gratitude popcorn.
I call it gratitude. Yeah, I like that. I call it gratitude ping pong, but whatever. It works.
It worked for me.
It works.
I'm thankful. I'm grateful. Thank you, Robert.
Bringing gratitude in our day is like so important. Sometimes I do it when I have other people here, and sometimes I forget to do it when I'm by myself. And I just feel like so much more energy when I do it.
Yeah, and the energy just courses through you and spills out into the things that you do and the people that you surround yourself with, and you become a magnet. Really, energy is the most important thing.
Yeah,
I think it's love. I think energy is love is a form of energy.
Oh,
When you're down, you're not loving yourself. When you're high, you're definitely accessing love.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with this new thing that I've been addicted to sugar for a long period of time, and I got to realize that when I'm really down, I crave sugar even more. When I'm in a low state of energy or I've had a stressful day, and I'm drawn to get that dopamine hit. I guess it's my body's way of kind of regulating. And I've been experimenting with thinking about love, being love, instead of going after Jenny's ice cream, which is my vice of choice. And it's been very helpful. So I'll let you know how the experiment goes. But whenever I'm feeling that way, I just try to access love and use that as my little sugarly hit.
So what's the exercise? Take us through the exercise.
The exercise is really imagining a time in the past where you felt loved or feel love, or it could be a person, it could be a place, it could be an experience you had in the past, and you can just go there and and you're really and I've done this practice for a while where you do this for 10 minutes a day until you get the scene in your mind that's so vivid, the vivid memory of that experience. And then you can close your eyes and just be there for a moment and just allow every cell in your body to soak that up. And then you're like, wow, it amazes me how you can just change your state through closing your eyes. Now, I've been, using breath work to change my state, dancing to change my state, and now just being able to close your eyes. Well, that's a whole nother thing.
That's nice. I'm going to close my eyes right now and have a chocolate chip memory.
Chocolate chip memory. Oh, yeah. I think that would work just as well. And then I'm like, chocolate chip. And then I'll go in that world of like, okay, I'm not going to have any ice cream. And then I will have the ice cream.
Well, I mean, sugar is real. It's just another part of the universe we get to choose from. Yeah.
What lights you up right now?
I'm doing mergers and acquisitions. Sell side advisory is what it's called. Taking the 6 different industries that I've been in and the 6 different exits and the hard lessons, the hard fought wins, the experience that I've had through this lived parallel entrepreneur thing that I apparently have been doing all my life, and applying those lessons to help other entrepreneurs navigate and prepare for the most important transaction in their life, which is an exit. Help their teams help them lead through that moment. It's double duty time. You're trying to run the company, hit the next quarter's goals, hit your plan. You're trying to market that plan to somebody that wants to invest with you on that plan. And so it takes two CEOs in the company, a real companionship, a lot of trust, and it's a terrific challenge, and it gets me up and makes me grateful. I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
How is that different from a perspective of helping someone that's a CEO, get his or her company ready for sale, and not being that person, like helping that person? How does that feel differently to you?
Well, I've been a hands-on CEO for a long time, and I think some of the lessons that have come to me later in life is that it's just as important to let go. You can seize a moment and then let it go. You can seize a plan and run into some challenges in the marketplace and overcome. And there's challenge after challenge after challenge. Talking about dopamine hit. These days, being a CEO is incredibly demanding. But then for me, it's been pushing over to another dimension of living with the heart in your center and being a part of a team, not the leader of the team. It's great. It's like I could be the first lieutenant and really understand what the captain's going through. And I could be a part of the team. And particularly when I'm working with a CEO that has good leadership skills, I really appreciate them. I'm more grateful than I ever have been about other people's skills in leadership. And I can watch them solicit me and get me into their mission, and I'm a part of it just like anybody else on the team. I don't have to be the leader, but the leader will turn to me and ask me a question or two and be coachable, and that makes me feel valued. I'm good at what I do.
Yeah, you are.
I'm really, really good at it, and I enjoy it, and I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Well, I've seen you in action, and I love watching great coaches. When you see a good coach like do their work, it just levels you up as a leader. Like, oh, okay, check, okay, I need to start working on that. And what do you think makes a great coach?
I'm wearing my duck outfit today just out of pure love for my team. And I've watched Dan Lanning on television before and after games on his way up to a competition. How he solicits a vision and gets his team to love each other in the locker room, no matter what their distances might be from their original life experiences to what they're doing today. They all come together with a job and a purpose, and they're skilled players and they're talented, and he's got this capacity to bring people together in a state of competition for being the best that they can be at the thing that they've chosen to do with their time and energy, and love each other in the process. Bonk heads, combat, love is the pure center of what I think that leader has been able to achieve. So when I look at what I would like to see more of from myself is helping people remind them to love themselves and to love what they do and to do what they love. It can manifest itself in the 8 hours a day that you spend at an office. It could manifest itself in really giving yourself the care and the attention you need to have a good 8 hours worth of sleep. And it could manifest itself in that other 8 hours where you're doing something that is a pursuit of a different type of a passion, your off time, and how you invest in other people. So you go to work, you go to play, you go to sleep. You manage to have a routine. You find a routine that works for you. You put disciplines and processes in place that work for the team, and then you remind them that they're working together. So I played football. I love team sports. I love to be with other people who have experience in team sports because I have a common language with them. And I think in the end, you got to lead with heart. you have to literally love what you do,
Mm.
or, you're not loving yourself enough to go find what you love enough to do with love.
Mm. Mm. What do you find when you're watching a great leader work with someone that may not be a fit for the team?
Well, good listening skills, really trying to figure out where would they fit. They might not fit in your team. Um, and they are probably struggling to stay. It's a feeling of being captured. I don't know, when I've not fit in to the place that I was trying to fit in, that's more energy than when I fit in and I'm in flow.
Mm.
So I feel like when we know we don't fit in, we know it. We're just holding on to something. We're scared to take another move. Um, I think I'd come up beside them and talk to them about how they would live in joy, uh, pursuing something else. I actually like to believe that I can find out more by listening to what their passions are, and they'll surface. I mean, your passions surface. You're pursuing your passions. And if you're not pursuing your passions and live, work, and play, it's a dull moment.
What do you think when you have a leader that maybe is in the wrong seat and they're affecting other people, but it's one of those, I guess, sacred cows in the company that, either a relative or a friend, and they feel like they need to keep them on the team, but it's so toxic. How do you convince leadership to let go of that sacred cow?
Well, it's usually a mirror. You got to hold up a mirror, and the person that is in your organization that needs to go, they're a C player, a B player. You're trying to organize. I try to remind the leader, are you trying to build a company with A players? We can get a lot more done with 3 or 4 A players than we could with 15 B players. And we would all enjoy it more. And I just try to remind the leader what it feels like for them to be in joy. I think they're tortured when they haven't made the right decision to exercise that responsibility as a leader to remove, to replace, to realign that toxic. I mean, you use the word toxic; it's a pretty significant word, really. It's toxic for the leader. It's toxic for everybody. They're sort of living in that slow boiling water. They don't realize it's toxic. Or if they see it and they're living with it, now it's combat. I think what I just do is hit it straight on. You cannot pussyfoot around toxic people.
Yeah.
You can't dance around the issue that you've got somebody on your team that needs to go. Matter of fact, I might even become more of an advocate for that and put pressure on the person who's in that decision-making position to remove that staff member or that team member or client. Remember, you sometimes have to fire a client.
Yeah.
I think it would be my responsibility to be honest about it when they are somehow not being able to. And then, like I said earlier, try to find the mirror. What is it about this individual that I see and dislike in myself that I behave like that? And go find that moment in time where I used to do exactly that when I was 32 or when I was 28 and I thought I knew everything. I didn't realize I was being toxic at the time. I should find that man, forgive him and myself, and use that opportunity as a mirror because I have something to learn too. It's not just toxic for the leader or for the members of their team. It might be toxic for me.
Yeah.
So I want to try to isolate that, learn from it, be honest about it, figure out where those goals are not being met by this toxicity and how that's poisoning the team. And then just sort of serve it up on a highlighted platter. People make the decision. Usually the toxic person will leave first.
Yeah.
They don't really always have to be escorted out.
Yeah.
They just have to, there needs to be a spotlight placed on the behavior that's toxic.
And what value really, when you think about like weak leaders or poor leaders, how awesome they are to have in your life, just to see what not to do, and just like, okay, that's poor leadership.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not doing that. Okay, but thank you, thank you for being in my life at this moment. And if I was being completely honest, through this journey of being an EOS implementer, I'm in rooms all the time, and a leader is doing or saying something that's very toxic,
Yeah.
and sit there and I will listen to it and I would go, holy cow, I used to do exactly what he is doing. And then to see it from another angle in this new perspective, I'm like, okay, all right. Thank you for showing me how I used to be. And okay, we can fix this. Because a lot of times, like, and I think these leaders are running ragged when they are surrounded by B and C players, and they're running so hard and heavy, they don't have time and peace to really reflect or think or plan out what they're about to say. It just comes out of their mouth in a raunchy way, and next thing you know, they've created more problem, more division, and not any peace. And I think that's what we as coaches get an opportunity to, show through our own actions, and people kind of follow along.
I've been fortunate to select clients who are going to sell their very large companies and want a companion. I've been fortunate to get some pretty well-cultured, well-prepared, seasoned entrepreneurs. And in my experience, it's like they want a coach less than they want a companion. They want to like have me along with the ride so that I'm the co-pilot and they're still in charge of the vehicle, but they're like, what do you think about if I went 5 miles an hour faster?
Yeah.
Well, I think you probably could pull that off. Let's go, Thelma. Okay, Louise. And
There's so much truth to this.
It's a companionship, not a coach. And the reason I feel that that's the case, at least for me, every one of us has to be coachable. I love a good coach. I can see a good coach in action. You have to give permission to be coached. There's a moment in time in a leader's life where they just want somebody to walk it with them, to help them carry the load, not teach them what to do next, because they are pretty competent. I mean, I'm surrounded by some extremely competent CEOs. So for me, it's been a journey of defining a companion. I don't know. I want to be coached, but there's a point where I don't want to be coached. I'm like, okay, I'm dealing with this situation. I feel competent. I'm responsible. I made that decision. I'm going to see it through. Maybe that is me admitting I'm not coachable. I don't know. I feel like I am. I feel like these people that I'm lined up with are coachable, but that what they want from me is more companionship on this journey.
If I could add, I think they also want help with their own confidence,
Yeah.
to trust in themselves, and they often are 100% right in their gut, but it takes a coach to say, "Yeah, trust that gut. You're going the right direction."
Yeah.
But there's like, I've started noticing in me this desire to seek answers outside versus inside. And when I start leaning more inside, what's right? Oh, that's right. Because if I start asking outside, I'll get differing opinions. And then sometimes it gets me
confused.
Yeah, it gets me really confused.
Yeah.
But I think what you're saying is like, you're in the co-pilot seat. You're making sure their plane doesn't crash. Yeah, you're going the right way. Yeah, you're good.
You're headed. Well, in the investment banking world, like I have a client launching right now, and we'll be speaking to 200 private equity firms in a highly disciplined process, going to market, so to speak. And some will pass early because it's not the right fit, even though we've highly researched and really put a lot of energy into the matchup. And some will get really engaged, but at some point you'll have like 50 different opinions about, why your baby, your business doesn't measure up, or why aren't you doing this, or our strategy would look like this, and you could fit in here, and well, we don't really think you could fit in at all, but we want to own you. Well, I mean, there are 50 different opinions, and the owner of that company has to figure out what's good for the people that have gotten this team this far, what's good for the future of the brand, what are the dreams that they still want to pursue as part of that organization. There's so much evaluation, and you're getting like 50 report cards, and then that narrows down to 10, and then you get into a situation where you're getting best and final bids, and now you're talking to 2 or finally 1, and it's an emotional ride. It's very, very demanding, and you can't take your eye off the ball because you can't miss this quarter's numbers, and you can't miss, you can't fail to invest along the way. And buyers are so smart, Robert. They know that you've been starving your company for the last year and a half in order to try to get your EBITDA up so that you could sell for a maximum EBITDA number. And they know there's delayed maintenance, So buyers want to see a company that's well run, that's got healthy leadership that they don't have to pay attention to, and a healthy business. And
they don't want to buy problems.
For it. They don't want to buy problems.
Yeah.
They don't want to buy your emotional deficits. They want to come in and see a healthy team. So that workout that you have to do for the 2-3 years before you're actually selling, that's where you come in. That's where I come in. That's where a real leader begins to know it's time for this next generation of leadership and ownership of this company. And I'm going to prepare for the healthiest possible moment, and people will pay for a healthy company. But it has to do with your own health too, man. You got to be able to get there and survive and navigate that. And it's not something that everybody's done. I've done it a few times. I've made my own mistakes and paid for my own mistakes. And the most exciting thing is to just get to a place where it's not that you're going to be mistake free, but where you're going to have minimized the distractions and achieved your vision. And it's something we're celebrating.
Thanks for joining me this morning.
It was a blast.
Time for breakfast.
Time for breakfast.